Welcome back to the CHG podcast, everybody.
What's up, guys?
What up? What up? So, we're gonna get right into it with what we are playing. So David, go
Yeah,
first. What are you
yeah.
doing? Have you done anything?
Yeah. I mean, I played. I had like a little 24-hour, um,
24 hour.
like demo preview thing of NBA 2K24. So I messed around on that,
Okay. Okay.
for a day or so.
How did you get that?
Uh,
Was it?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a part of having Game Pass or having Xbox Live, but I was looking at it because I was hoping it had gone on a sale because
Uh-huh.
it's been doing pretty poorly, both critically and sales wise compared to previous
Sales wise
iterations.
too, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah. Um, so I was like, if it was like $40, I was gonna see if I could convince Serena to let me buy it. But yeah, it's cool. It's the same exact fucking thing. Even now one of the only good ones in the game as far as sports games is yeah,
So
it's the same
it's
thing.
finally happened, huh? They're finally having the Madden
I mean,
effect.
it's been that way for a
Unfortunately.
while.
Oh,
It's been that way for a while. They have the Kobe moments, which is cool. But
does it
it's not
still
new.
have the historical mode?
yes, it
I
does.
know you loved
They,
that in the one
yes, and
before that.
I still do. But it's the exact same thing. They didn't add anything to it, like really, like
I mean,
substantially.
what could they?
I mean, they could make
Uh,
things better. They could make the simulations work. They could put more into the presentation.
hmm.
Like they could do something like back in the day with NFL 2K5. They would have like you would sim a game, like you could sim like a day of games, and then you could go to the um like ESPN recap of all the games, and they would show highlights from the games
Hmm.
and like have an announcer like talking about the games and stuff that you didn't play, you just simmed,
Yeah.
yet they still have highlights from it.
Huh.
So like they could do something like that. Now what would get me to buy it is that one of my favorite players of all time, Brandon Roy, um, was not in last year's game. I had to download him from a fan creation,
Hmm.
and it just and he's in this one along with a couple other people who were missing.
Hmm.
Uh, like only basketball nerds and historians are gonna know
Yeah.
these people, but Adam Morrison, a huge bust from that same draft, is in there too. So like just stuff like that. That's like it gets me. Like I would buy it
Hmm.
just to have
Yeah. The
Brandon Roy's real
nostalgia.
face
Just like,
in it.
oh man, I
Um,
feel it. I feel it. I can understand.
so yeah, but other than that, it's the same exact game. In fact, they even took some stuff out. I don't know if
Oh no.
I don't know if they took it out because like competitive players didn't like it in the competitive mode
Okay.
or what. But it used to be that you could hit when you hit a green. Do you know what hitting a green is? Okay, so hitting a green is like a guaranteed shot,
Oh,
right? Like you hit the timing just perfect to where it will go in.
is that
So you
only
get
a
this.
thing in the game? Because that doesn't sound like something in real life.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, but it's permeated real life because people will say like, "Oh, green." Like so
But
they'll
like,
say it.
but the thing is, like, what if you should what you think
Well,
is
that's the thing.
green
Like
and
you
it's
gotta be
not?
sure. You gotta be sure, or you're
I
gonna
would
Nick
hate
Young
to say
yourself.
green and then miss, and you're just oh.
No, it's happened before, but no. So and it used to be two things they changed. One is you used to get the green indicator like after you release the shot. It used to like pop up like it's been different in different iterations. Sometimes it's like a like little thing by your feet that lights up or the meter lights up, something like that. Um, they took away I believe, of course, it's been a couple days. I think they took away the pre-indicator, and it only greens up like you get a little like green basketball above the hoop when you make the shot to be like, oh, you green that. And in last year's iteration, they would do like a little cutaway, like you'd be shooting it and it's in your normal like kind of overview of your game, like the way you play it. But then it would do like a cutaway, like from a broadcast, like if you were watching a game and watching someone shoot, and it would cut away, and that also was an indicator that like, oh, I'm gonna make that because they did the cutaway, and I liked it because it did like make it cinematic, like you pull up on a shot and you like, and then cut away and you nailing it over a guy. It was cool. They don't have that. I don't know if it was in the settings, if I could turn it back on. I liked it. Other than that, I played a little bit more of Forza. I played the tutorial level of the new Yakuza game. Not Yakuza.
Infinite Wealth or
No, the one that's in
Ishin. Oh yeah, you said Ishin.
Yeah, Ishin.
That one.
Ishin.
Okay.
So I played a little bit of it. I don't know. I don't know when I have time to actually sit down and play it. But yeah, so that's mainly it.
I'm sorry to hear about your 2K. For those who don't know, Madden has just been crap for like 10 years almost now. Like I think the first bad one
longer than that. But yeah.
Well, I think the first bad one that I knew about was 25, which was 13. 2013, I think 2014, 13.
2013.
It was the first one on the PS4
and
Xbox One.
One of them.
No, it was the first one on PS4 and Xbox
It was the
One.
25th anniversary of Madden,
which is why they call it 25.
No.
Which is going to be funny 2 years from now, but
they'll just call it Madden. They won't even fucking give it
I
a
won't
year.
be surprised if they just call it Madden, EA Sports Madden for that year. But so for those who don't know, so that was the first one that I knew was bad. I'm sure people like David was like, no, it's been bad since like 2009. But like that was the first one that like I think it was probably the biggest publication of it being bad because it flopped. It did not do well. Like I remember it was getting roasted.
Well, and it was the first one on the new gen, and there was some like the past gen ones were actually better.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It was the next gen ones that were just bad,
but
like features didn't work and it was bare
but
bones.
Of course that's would be the more popular one, right, amongst the
it's the one that's going to get the most look,
right? So like it was thrash, and I remember that was the first time I noticed, and then I was just starting to see through the years like it was kind of, I think maybe 15 might have been a slight resurgence, I think, and that probably was because Kevin Hart was in the promotional material, which David and I love to this very day. Best summer working at GameStop. Hands down.
That was pretty, that was fun.
Best thing ever. For those who remember it, man, if you know, you know. I think it might have been a slight resurgence. I remember the reviews weren't too bad on that one, but then like kind of everything since then has just been crap. And but 2K despite that happening, 2K was getting positive reviews every year. Like that was still held up to our regard. David played them all. He enjoyed them, even if it was iterative. It felt more meaningful than whatever the crap Madden was doing.
Yeah.
But then I think the last couple of years, ever since they started doing this casino shit with the microtransactions, it is just
and it's even
and
worse.
I heard
this year.
I talked to somebody about it the other day, and I was like, hey, how's the new Madden? I'm the 2K, because I heard last year was just like ridiculous. Like, oh dude, it's even crazier now. And I was like, how do you get more crazier than literal roulette machines? Like, how do you get more like because like their microtransactions were insane last year, having literal roulette machines, but so now they somehow outdid themselves. I don't know how. It's like
mainly it just has to do with the grind. So the actual in-game time to grind up levels per what you can buy it at.
Yeah.
Just increased again. It's like double.
Wonderful.
What last year's was.
Wonderful.
And there's certain things that was previously was behind their season pass, which is controversial to begin with, but at least like you got the season pass, and if you grinded the season pass, you could get it, but is now behind a separate like pay structure thing.
Oh,
so yeah, it's just bad,
man.
Not that I ever played those, but I at least paid attention to.
One day, man, they just got to just make these games free to play, and then just like, because they'll make just as much money. They'll make just as much money either way. And you know,
you will see. You'll see the big test is going to be EA's NCAA football, because if they fuck the NCAA football fans over we've waited.
Here's what's going to happen. Probably
10 years.
Here's what's going to happen. Probably it's either it's going to fuck up right from the start, or they'll do good by you for one game, gain your trust, and then fuck it up because they've already bought you. well, not you. You're probably more savvy than that. But like for a lot of players, they will have bought them for a whole year. Do great, do good post support, free new players, updates, whatever. Maybe some historical players just for you. Real old heads. And then the next game, trash, and you'll be like, what happened? But like you've already been, it's like whatever.
Honeypotted.
Anyways, but I was gonna say the only thing left now seems to be MLB.
And I mean, MLB hasn't made significant changes,
but like they burned you though.
So I've never gotten into the Diamond Dynasty or anything like that.
But I don't hear nothing.
I have heard that it's been worse.
Okay.
But I haven't heard it. So I watched just like one creator that does Diamond Dynasty, and he did say that it's worse, but it's not. Like he wasn't saying it was terrible.
I don't hear no one talking about the crap that Madden or 2K, for that matter, have fallen under. Even FIFA. I mean, not saying that FIFA's just as bad, right? But I think for some reason no one talks. Well, because FIFA is not big stateside. That's why. That's the main reason. I bet you if you live in Europe, you probably are more exposed to those European creators, and it's probably huge. Probably a whole bunch of crap talked about, but not stateside. But yeah, I don't hear about it in MLB that much. So interesting, but it looks like all sports games are down the drain. Also, I was gonna one more last thing. When you mentioned 2K5, I wanted to say, did you watch Angry Joe's review of Madden 22? Because he kept bringing up. I watched it. I don't even know why.
Everybody will bring up 2K5. It is. Well,
he brought up multiple old 2Ks. Before 2010, and so I was like, oh, did David watch his? Because you just busted out 2K5 out of nowhere. So
because I played it, and it's the best licensed football game of all time. It is not the best football game of all time. So after Madden bought the rights for simulation NFL football. But had not bought the NFLPA's exclusive license.
PAs?
NFLPA is the organization that represents the players themselves.
Okay.
And retired players.
Okay.
2K made a game, 2K All-Stars. I can't remember if they skipped a year. I think it was like maybe it was 06 or 07. But it was an upgraded engine from 2K from 2K5 that had a complete creation suite, and it had retired NFL greats on it. But basically, they just gave you the tools to recreate rosters and share the rosters. And people are still playing that game today, which is updated rosters, because it has a physics engine that's real-time physics. It's great. It's amazing. So yeah. Anyway,
okay.
What are your games? You can't talk about. You can't talk about.
I get it, man. Hey, I get it. The old 2000s is the best for sports. I mean, wrestling is the same. I mean, most people quote "Here Comes the Pain" from 02, I think, or 01 I don't know, 01, 03 as the best one. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 is the best one. And that was from 05. I think that was the perfect in between like a simulation style thing, but still arcadey. So. But I get it. I get you, fam.
Yeah.
All right, two main games. That's basically it for me. WRC 10 on the PS4, which I'm going to finish up tonight, and then move on to the PS5 version because it's a super easy game. And Gran Turismo Sport update. So over the past week, I have finished, I think, 115 races in the sport mode, which I mentioned or detailed last week. And I have 44 pole positions and 54 wins.
Look at you.
I have been making this game my entire life, basically.
Freaking pro.
Well, trust me, it's a mix of making sure I play at night so less people are on, and then being the most toxic player I have ever been in any game to get these wins.
Just running people off the road.
You have no idea. I've made some enemies. I've had people message me already, like telling me to stop winning. So, Yeah, I'm making enemies.
You just messes bad. Get good, bro.
Dude, I had
Get
people.
good, scrub.
I've had people from like who have the South American flag, so I imagine they probably have messaged me just because of the language barrier. But like, they make their feelings known towards me on the track, very much so. I am getting like bumped 20 feet, like it is just out of control, like on like tight turns where you're supposed to slow down, they don't, and they just ram into me. Sometimes it's fun when they miss and you can see them miss. And it's just right behind you and you're like, haha. But yeah, it's coming along. I'll definitely be done before the servers are down. It's just a matter of like how soon can I get this done. But you got to remember, even after this, I still have the rest of the game to do. Like that's not the game. Like, it's like sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I still have like all the regular stuff to do, because there's like a whole series of challenges that the game has put together, which is supposed to comprise the career mode, but it's not.
Yeah, the license challenges.
So not in this game. There's driving challenges, yes, which function as the same thing, but they're not called that. And it seems to be that part of the game is nowhere near as bad as the driving license tests in previous games are, which is, I know all about them. I know all about them. So
that fucking S license,
dude,
man.
Yeah, I know all about it. So because on my alt account, I actually started doing the driving challenges first, and I actually got through the first row like relatively quickly. And there's only like 30 in total. So like this, it's they broke it down differently. It's not a traditional license thing in this game. I think GT7 brought it back, but not this game. But besides those driving time, I mean, like there's like these, I don't know if they're missions or what, but like those things comprise the story mode or career mode in this game. So they went about this whole thing very weirdly. I remember when GT Sport was even shown and talked about, I was like, this feels weird. This doesn't feel like the Gran Turismo game I mean, I'm not even a huge GT fan, but like I felt like, I was like, this is not really, I think, the direction anybody wanted this to go, like at all. And especially with it being always online and everything, to the point where if you're offline, it seems to be that not much progress will save. So people are still up and so confused, because there's a trophy to get to level 50, but the grind to get to level 50 is tremendous. Like the grind between levels in like the last 5 levels is just ridiculous. You need like a couple 100,000 experience just for each of those. But people are wondering, like, so the update from Polyphony said that certain things will be no longer available, but everything else will be fine. Like you can unlock cars normally as you would normally need to and all that stuff. But like we also know that the game doesn't save if you're not connected. So people are confused. Like, okay, well, if the servers are down but you're connected to the internet, is that enough? Like, is that cool? Like, because obviously they didn't say that the game is completely shut down. Like you can't do anything in it. So that's a little up in the air. It's not going to be my problem, because I want this platinum before the server shut down, period. So, yeah. So maybe next week I'll have at least one of either the polls or the wins completely done. The polls are still harder for me, because even when I do my very, very freaking best, like I actually just tried to race earlier today, and there was a dude ahead of me in the starting grid. He was ahead of me by 0.001. He had me beat by 0.001, and I literally out loud, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was so mad. And so, like I actually had to ask a guy last night. I was like, bro, because he needed some wins. He needed like 3 more wins to get that trophy. And I was like, cool, because I was beating him, but I didn't pass him when I had the chance to. And I was like, hey, when you get your wins, can you just shut off for the night so I can get pulls? So like, that's where we're at, man. But so hopefully by the time next week comes, or the next stream, I'll have the polls. If the polls, hopefully also the wins. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and I'll probably be like in the 200s or something for total races done. But it's coming along.
We wait on bated breath.
I wait on bated breath. Screw you guys. I want this done more than you do. But yeah. So that's where we're at. So, anyways, with that, we're gonna move on to some topics here. David, move your camera back up. You're out of frame. Move it. There you go. There you go, champ.
Well, I'm not out of frame on mine, so you.
Well, what matters is what the people see, not what you see. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to talk about a little few interesting things that I ran into just today, and we're going to give our thoughts on this. So, first thing, I came across an article, just wasn't even looking for it. Came across an article from Fortune magazine, but it was from their website, about both YouTube and Twitch are kind of winding down their payouts for their, for top streamers, video game streamers and creators and such. It's mainly on the streaming side. But even though they've been giving out big payouts so far, it looks like they're actually changing their strategies, because there was a couple of people from, I think, Twitch that remained anonymous, but one of them had said like this doesn't, it's not sustainable for them anymore to be doing this. And I never knew how much these people were actually getting paid. I never bothered to check. I just knew that they were getting paid money. XQC got paid $100 million from Twitch. And I'm just like, do athletes even get paid this much? Like, like what in the hell?
I mean, yes,
do they?
But
Okay.
not every athlete.
But they get paid it over like 5-10 years or 7 years.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean that's the same way that those payouts happen. Like they contracted, like you can for X amount of years.
But like I'm just like, that is more than a lot of athletes get paid, And
yeah, that would be top.
And even if like the athletes are like second string or whatever, they're just backups or second backups, it's like they still had to do a lot of work to get on these teams. Like, yeah, everyone wants to rag on them, but it's like even the third string guy on the top team right now in the NFL, right? Which who is it? Who's running right? Who's first right now?
Eagles.
Okay, cool.
You
Eagles.
can make an argument between the Eagles, Dolphins.
We'll
and
use the Eagles.
Chiefs.
Actually, it doesn't even matter. You can use fucking, I don't know, the Pirates. Like, I don't know. Like, you can use any team. It doesn't matter. But point is, you can take the third string team from one of the worst teams of the league at the moment, and they're still better than all of us. You know what I mean? Like, people forget how much skill they actually have, even if they're not the star players, the first line. They're, like, majority of us would never hold a candle to them.
Well, I mean, and I would argue, though, that, because I have played with professional gamers that weren't
once. You did that once. You did that one time.
But I have done it. And
that was when you were at your sweatiest on one particular game.
That was when I was at my sweatiest.
Okay.
That is what and I got my ass handed to me. Like, I had never played. Like, I literally could have put the controller down and not touched it and probably had done better than I did. So, like, they're not, it's not like it doesn't take any effort to be this good. To get those contracts.
Well, I didn't make a point yet. I was just trying to say something for setting shit up. But anyways, the point is that, like, a lot of the streamers, right? These are not competitive streamers. These are not people who are training for League or for Dota or for Counter-Strike, right? These are just your every person. Maybe they might do some cool challenges on Elden Ring, maybe, right? Whatever. And if that's the case, it's cool, because some of these challenges, I don't know how y'all people figure this stuff out. Like, let's beat Elden Ring I saw one was like, let's beat Elden Ring with only the NPC weapons that you get. Who in the world thinks of that? But like, they somehow figure it out and they manage it, right? Which, okay, that's something. But some of these streamers, they kind of don't really do that, right? Or XQC actually has been coming under fire because of his reaction videos, which people are now really giving him a lot of shit for. Not just him now. Now it's expanding to other...
Yeah, reaction content in general.
Yeah, reaction creator, which he's a big part of that. I don't know if that's the bread and butter of what he does, but he's a big part of that whole, like, subgenre. And so it's like, where is the talent in that?
That I 100% like. I think that there is talent in just being a creator, like being entertaining, and also on the business end of just building your base. But the reaction one is probably one of like the worst.
It's the hardest to defend. I gotta admit, it is the hardest to defend.
It is by far the hardest one to defend.
So and again,
okay, I know who this guy is. I hate this guy.
Oh, cool, anyway. Cool. Awesome. So we can talk shit. Anyways, so but it's just like, when it comes to, it's just, I'm not saying it doesn't take effort to do any of this stuff on the content creating side, especially if you're trying to build.
But
yourself,
how much
right?
are you worth, and in the business aspect of it, and why?
But it's just when I look at Twitch or YouTube, and they give that's how much they're getting paid. I'm like,
yeah,
is that the same?
It's
like, is that on an even playing level? Like, you know, if you're trying to make things congruent, like in gaming to sports, is that the same as an athlete for their sport, like, or whatever, or a business person working a business CEO? Is like equivalently, is that the same? You know, like, is that effort, is that work really the same? Is the content they put out the same level equivalently? That's what makes me kind of scratch my head, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and it's also like, you know, he got up $100 million. Like, so in a business aspect, you're not looking for $100 million back. You're looking to, 10x that. Like
you're gonna need 200, 300, 400, $500 million back if you're gonna put that much of it. Well, I guess if it's spread out, you would want then like $100 million per year or whatever.
over whatever it is. Yeah.
But and I guess that's why it's not if that's the amount that they're regularly giving to even the top 20, 50 streamers, right? That is so much money to just put out. And without a guaranteed return on getting that back, I can see why they would say it's unsustainable, you know? And I think, but that's not the creator's fault. That is Twitch's and YouTube's fault. You know, like, that's them being stupid and realizing
get your bag,
you know, these people, they may not actually be bringing all the content or the people we thought they would bring in, or bringing the money with it that we thought, even though we gave them $100 million. Like, people forget, businesses and their fans forget, most of these people, they're just regular schmoes that just happen to catch a good opportunity. Either they're, they also are all pretty, guys or girls, they're all pretty too, but like, they just happen to have come across, maybe they came in early, or they came in at the right moment, they came in, maybe they started a subgenre before it was really established, they came in at the right time. But that doesn't mean all of a sudden, that doesn't mean they did it calculating. Like, they weren't calculating, they weren't like, with a spreadsheet just managing this all out. And I'm sure some of the bigger ones probably do at this point, but like, that's not how they came in to be. Most of them probably didn't find a loophole in the market and then just went and penetrated it and then saw what happened, because a lot of people don't have business backgrounds or degrees or graduate. They don't. Like, I'm not even being mean. They don't. Especially if you hear the way they respond to criticisms or drama or anything, like, they sound like idiots. They sound like they're like they're 20 years old. Yeah. I mean, some of them are.
Like
but like, yeah. Oh man, you been hearing the Sniper Wolf shit with her and Ackman? Oh man, that's been getting wild. But like, they sound like they're children still. Like, they just graduated high school. Like, they don't come across. They don't like talk articulately. They don't use a lot of good language, like high level language. These are just regular people, regular fucking millennials who happen to come across a good thing, a really good thing. And they forget that. So it's not like, even though the SQC or Sniper Wolf or whoever, Ninja, they signed this huge ass deal with YouTube or Twitch or Mixer, RIP Mixer, but like, just because they do doesn't mean that they know what to do then. They don't. That doesn't mean all of a sudden they know what to do now to bring that money back to them. Be like, I just got $100 million over spread out for 10 years.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Like,
and another thing that, like, I don't know if Twitch and stuff was thinking, but on your point of them being just regular people, most of these people, like, when you take something that is a passion and then you make it a career, a lot of people lose
the passion,
their passion for it, and they're doing it for money.
Mm-hmm.
You then hand someone a lot of money up front, then they lose the only thing that was motivating them to make good content.
Mm-hmm.
You gave them money before, and then, like, so I feel like some of that might have been like, if QTC got a whole
XQC,
whatever, fuck him. If he got a lot of money, yeah, why not make the laziest ass content possible? You're already getting your bag. Like, everything else on top of it's just bonus. I don't know, because I haven't looked too far. I've just seen the highlight numbers. I don't know if they have like contractual obligations or like what they have to do. Like in sports, like you'll hear like a really big number. Mm-hmm. So this upcoming off season, you're going to see Shohei Ohtani sign for. If he hadn't gotten injured, if he didn't get Tommy John surgery again, he would have gotten probably $500 million. He'll probably still get in the high three to low $400 million. But all that money is probably not guaranteed. He probably has they can probably cut their losses at at a certain amount of years and stuff like that. So he still needs to perform to get all of that money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they kind of have the same things. Hopefully. But if it's all guaranteed, then why do anything?
Yeah, and if not even guaranteed, if there's no clauses of like what we need you to do going forward.
Yeah, if you don't bring in X amount of money, then you don't get this money, or something like that.
Something that they could help monitor whether they're going to on track to get this back. If plus some, of course, right? Because that's just what you would do. And so it's so weird. And not only the fact that whether it's upfront or not guaranteed or not, not only like do you lose the passion because you got the money, it's also the amount of money. Right? Like if it was like a $500,000 contract, that would still be crazy, right? If Twitch came to us and was like, RJ David, $500,000 to put out X content, right? We'd be like, fuck that, I'm quitting today. Let's make some fucking content,
Hell, okay, let's be real honest. Let's be realistic. The money that someone would have to pay me to just do this or something like this would be $50,000.
Like just a career amount. Yeah, like
just a regular ass job.
As long as it was guaranteed, because that's the only thing that worries me about YouTube, right? Because it's not guaranteed. Yes. If they were like, okay, RJ David, guaranteed up front right away, $50,000 each. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even $50,000 for the year will pay you monthly like it was a job.
Yeah.
But and I couldn't be fired before the end of the year. I'd be I can put off teaching for a year.
Here's the thing. That's most people. Okay, that's not just us. That's most of us. Okay, if it was $56,000 guaranteed a year, you cannot get let go. For whatever I'm sure most of us would be like, okay, sign me up, right? So it's
whatever sustains the
that's
current
already been. So we're already establishing
much.
the lowest amount here, right? I'm even going crazy with $500,000, but XQC gets paid $100 million, whether it's spread out or not. $100 million. That is fuck you money. That is the definition of fuck you money. And he's like our age, if not younger, by a couple years, right? What do you do with $100 million? It's like that's gonna corrupt anybody. That's gonna make anyone realize.
It would take a lot. That's
gonna make anyone realize, like, oh, I don't have to do shit. I don't gotta do shit. So,
but to address the other end before we move on to our main story, for anyone who's like, oh no, now the streamers aren't they're gonna make money. They were making money on top of this money, with brand deals and their own merch, stuff like that. These guys getting these deals already were making
the
money.
big ones, that is. And here's the thing, what we're going to start realize, what we're going to see in like 15 years, because this is still so new, right? What we're going to see in 15 years is what we already been seeing countless time again with the sporting scene, with sports, right? And in that sense of so many athletes go broke after they're done playing. Because they never learn how to manage their money because of where they come from, right? Their background, right? Let's be real. A lot of them are black. Whether it's basketball or football, right? A lot of them are black. Or even in baseball, a lot of them are overseas, down south, whatever, right? It's a very national sport. But not a lot of them are taught money management. Even when they get the money, they don't get taught it. So they spend it like crazy. A lot of these people in the streaming world, they're young. They're millennials like us. But most of us millennials weren't taught money management skills either. right? There's no classes for it. As a teacher, you are made definitely aware of this, right? Like there's a lot of gaps in our education system, which I've realized isn't just in the U.S., also overseas. Money management is just not pushed, which I'm sure is on purpose. Illuminati. But it's not pushed, right? And so you have these people who come up with the same backgrounds, environments that we did, same childhood, same schools, public school systems, whatever have you. They don't know how to manage the money. I heard I was talking to a friend of mine that I met, and she watches this what's his name? Hobbs. He's a big Dark Souls streamer. He was like the first that did the God run, I think. That completed it. Like he talks all the time in his streams that like, he has to watch his money. Like he doesn't have a car, his wife does a lot of the work, a lot of working and stuff like that. He's fortunate, apparently he's able to actually like enlist some people to help him, but like he did like have to, he was under fire, not fire, but he was under some hard times because of money, right? And you would think top Dark Souls streamer gets hundreds, thousands of people in his streams all the time, but like happens to him. Now, would it happen to SQC? Probably not. But like the point is, 15 years from now, when he's done or irrelevant, what's gonna happen then? Or Ninja or Pokimane or any of them, right? Like 15 years from now, 20 years from now, what's gonna happen? And we're probably gonna see more often than not, all those people you love to watch, big or small, mid, whatever have you, are gonna be broke as a joke. Because it's happened to sports. We saw it so many times in the sports scene. We're gonna see it here. This is like the new thing that's replacing it, right? Like it's the new thing, but we don't know now because they're still making money. But I promise you, 15 years from now,
and because happen. Real quick, like with the NFL, the NBA, all these sports now, because they've been being called out on that as an organization, they are providing now. Classes and things like that. Wonderful. Yeah, they have rookie symposiums where they go over that. Okay. Teams themselves, a lot of teams have financial advisors that kind of come in and speak to the rookies and stuff like that.
Wonderful.
But does YouTube, Twitch, and everybody have the? I don't know if they have the same.
Yeah, see, that's where things get different, right? It's so individual
because they're contractors essentially. So like. They don't like, we don't have any onus. There's no YouTube PA.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There's no like body protecting them or trying to get together in their own, like there's no, because it's not a league, right? Even though
it's not a league, they are not employees of YouTube.
It's just, they make money for a bigger organization. That's it. So the best they could do, I guess, would be like host, seminars, host,
I mean, they could, but events. They don't really have any need to, because again, they're contractors. I get that.
But,
they're hosting site. Like,
I get
for
that.
Content.
I'm just saying though, if they wanted to, that's probably the best they could do, even if they wanted to, because there's no like, organizational body that could do something like this easily, right? But
the NFL can force rookies to go to the rookie symposium, and they do, because hey, if you don't go to this, that's part of your rookie contract. Like you have to go to the symposium.
Yeah.
They can't do that with YouTube.
I guess they could if they signed you.
Yeah. If you on these signature ones,
for the big guys or whatever size you need to be to get signed, I guess they could for them. But for everyone else who's making money but not enough to be signed, then those are the people that you kind of fall through the cracks. But we'll see what happens. If we're still here doing this 15, 20 years from now, we'll let you know. But okay, we had another thing I was going to talk about, but we'll skip it. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was about Sean Layden just talking about the merger with Xbox and Activision, which he kind of just said basically like he's a little hesitant about this because you go from a
big
lot
companies getting bigger.
He had a remark on consolidation as a whole. He's kind of like worried of all of this consolidation that's happening across the
monopolies
industry.
Are scary things.
And he was like, he just doesn't know what's going to happen. He's like, what he said was like, you take 100 voices, now you only have 12. And you lose a lot of those voices, and a lot of times what happens, almost always, is that creativity kind of falls and this and that. But what he said was not revolutionary, is nothing that you haven't heard from anybody else before, so we'll skip it. We were going to go over the Xbox showcase that was today, October 25th. It was held today. It was the partner preview showcase, whatever you want to call it. It was like half hour. It was basically their version of like those little showcases that Sony does every so often. They're like 20 to 30 minutes long. It was I don't think mid is the right word, because I feel like it was less than mid. It was weird.
It was just like, oh, here's, yeah.
And this is not just because I'm a Sony guy. I have come away from some of the Sony presentations and been very like, what was this even worth it? So trust me, it's not biased.
Two of the bigger things that they have on here are essentially DLCs for games.
I was gonna say almost everything that was shown. Okay, everything big that was shown was already known, and the only thing that was new shown was small, or things that probably very little people are gonna. The only reason why you would play it is because it's on Game Pass, kind of situation. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of scroll across and we'll give our thoughts. I'm on an IGN breakdown of it, but it's like in the wrong order that it was presented. But who gives? Who cares? First thing here. Obviously, the big headline was the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Now, this is notable because it was the first time that we have seen proper gameplay in the engine, in-engine gameplay. So it was the first time we saw that, because Sony showed it before, but all they did was a little teaser announcement. This was actually proper gameplay, even though it was still very short. It was only like 2 minutes long. I thought it was a little weird just because, like, well, first of all, my computer was not rendering it like with enough frames. I was like, this looks really bad, and I was like, what's going on here? So I changed to 1080p, and I was like, there's that Unreal 5 or whatever they're using. But like, I mean, it was very quiet. It was a very quiet little gameplay thing. It was super quiet. Like, they showed a little, your little cuts here and there and everything like that, some doing stealth stuff. Very focusing very much on the stealth. It looks fine. I would have thought it'd be a bit better. Just because, like, when you have a chance to do a remake, I feel like you can really flesh out an engine when you do a remake of a game. Some of the most impressive looking games that I've played have been remakes, just because of like also because like you have the nostalgia working in your favor, because you remember how something looks in the old textures, and you see
the reimagining of something that you remember.
You can't believe it, right? And it looks good, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of expecting like it kind of, not just how it looked, also how Snake moves. It just doesn't feel that smooth to me. Like, it doesn't feel as flawless and cinematic as I was expecting it to. But then again, I'm not a Metal Gear fan, so what do I know? What do we know? Neither of us have played it, so whatever. But I was kind of just expecting a bit more. Hey, people are happy about it, so more power to you.
You know, who knows? You know, when I see the first kind of stuff for the Fallout 3 remake, I'm sure I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
absolutely
how, as long as it
nuts.
exists, you don't care. Like, it could be a port, and you'd be like, I don't care. Like, don't care.
Updated res, cool.
Updated textures, 60 frames. Sign me up, my man.
Let's fucking go.
I already got it. Like, I don't know what you need to tell me.
I gotta pay for the DLCs again. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Whatever. $25 for them all. Whatever. So, yeah, I get it.
Gotta have my Liberty Prime DLC, yo.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm not ending the game on the freaking terrible ending that Fallout 3 ended. Give me that Brotherhood Zeta, or the Brotherhood of Steel DLC, Broken Point, the Pit. Give me the Pit.
Fox, get in the motherfucking chamber. You are a super mutant. You already did this shit when I met you. Get in the chamber.
How that wasn't just the default option blows my mind. But anyways,
you have to do your own mission.
I actually heard that dialogue in a video the other day, because I forgot how I played it.
You have your own destiny.
Because when I actually played the game, I already had the DLC installed, because I think I had the Game of the Year edition. It was built into the disc, so I didn't even know that the game stops at that. Like, I had, because
you fucking die.
I had no idea that if you didn't have that, the game's over. The game's over. I had no idea, because Brotherhood Steel starts right afterwards.
And I think what they overlooked. I know we're getting way off.
You brought up Fallout, man.
I think what they should have done was not make Fox Fox,
Yeah,
however you pronounce
Fox.
it,
Yeah, Fox.
a follower. Like I know he's the best, by far the best follower.
So good.
But just doing that brought that loophole in and ruined it. If they would have had any other follower, like, well, did they have a ghoul follower? I can't remember if they had a ghoul follower.
I don't remember one.
I don't think.
I never used it.
I
used a few in my playthrough. I usually
don't
stay
think they
solo, but when I found Fox, and I was like, dang, he's
I don't think they did. But you ask a human follower to like, hey, can you go in there and die? Like they could be like, no, and we're leaving your party now. Like, and that would be like, oh, okay, so you have to do it. But just have Fox there be like, go die, friend.
Or like, how about just go not die? Because already
exactly. Anyway, so Metal Gear, awesome for the people who like it. Probably won't play it.
And David won't Fallout 3. Do it. So the next thing on here is Alan Wake 2, which again has been shown off. I don't know why they keep taking time out of these presentations to show this off. It's been shown off like 10 times now. And I'm just like sick of seeing it, honestly. So I'm like, what else? Like, because first of all, they barely show anything anyways. Every time they show it, it's barely anything. Even at Gamescom, which was supposed to be the biggest reveal so far, half of it was just like, no, actually, no, what they showed off was just a story trailer. Just more story, which I'm like, what? No. And what they showed up still didn't make any sense. So I'm just like, just stop wasting time. Just let the game come out and just be done.
I expect it to be at the level of maybe a little bit better than
Control.
I
don't think it will. Honestly,
that's what I expect it to be.
I don't think it will, and I only say that just because of how much hype it's getting. It's almost making me think like it won't live up to it.
Here's my thing. They have the engine. They have everything. Like I don't think it doesn't meet the looks and control of Control. I think it'll meet that. Now whether it is better than, and I think that's what people expect, is a whole nother thing. But they can't not meet that. They have the engine sitting right there.
Control won Game of the Year in 2019.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm just saying looks. I'm just saying looks and stuff wise. I'm just saying looks and stuff wise. I don't know It'll look and play like.
It looks fantastic. Actually, no, it looks actually different than Control in my opinion.
Man,
I actually during the showcase I actually saw because they showed a different little action scene with the FBI agent you play as, and it was like a little horror bit. It was like this weird monster she had to fight, and I was like, this actually looks like Resident Evil. So I think they're actually taking a lot of cues from Resident Evil with this one. Like the way you shoot, the encounters, when that beast or monster came close to her and she had like bend it off. I was like, holy crap, this literally looks like Resident Evil, which I guess isn't a bad thing because the Resident Evil remakes have been fantastic. Resident Evil 4 has been fantastic. So like, not a bad thing, but like it made me kind of feel like, is this Alan? Like based on Alan Wake 1, that actually did feel like its own thing, but I'm starting to wonder, at least in the action, in the gameplay, I'm wondering if it'll still feel like its own thing. I'm sure the story will be cool. People are really hoping or really anticipating how this will connect to Control because it's supposed to, I guess. So
same universe and everything.
I think that's probably the biggest thing pushing this is like, okay, how is this going to connect to Control? Because Control was so good.
And I mean, Alan Wake 1 is a cult classic,
but it's a cult classic. So
yeah.
Only certain people are going to really know about it. So that's the problem with cult classics and that gets sequels is that like is either going to blow the mainstream up or it's going to stay under the radar. So
yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, so that was that. David will probably let us know how it is. I'm sure it'll be on Game Pass day one.
I don't do horror.
It's barely horror, bro. It's not even real horror.